Breaking news: the Trump administration has just announced major changes to U.S. green card requirements, and they take effect immediately. No warning, no transition period. The rules are now different, and if you're in the middle of applying, these updates could change everything for you. Immigration lawyers are already calling this one of the most significant shifts in years, and thousands of applicants are scrambling right now to understand what it means for their future. In this video, we're unpacking exactly what just changed, who's affected, and how these new requirements could impact your path to permanent residency in the United States. Whether you're already living in America on a visa, waiting for your interview, or just starting your green card application, this new rule could determine whether you qualify or get rejected. Under the new system, the government is tightening eligibility reviews and focusing more heavily on financial stability, employment history, and public charge assessments. In simple terms, the U.S. wants to see stronger proof that applicants can support themselves without government aid, and that's not all. Some categories of family-based and employment-based applications may now face extra scrutiny, and certain documents you thought were enough might not be anymore. We'll break down every major detail, step by step, so you know exactly what's changing, how it affects your chances, and what you can do to stay on the safe side. You'll hear what experts and attorneys are advising right now, what documents you need to double-check, and how to avoid the common mistakes that could delay or derail your application. So don't click away. This update affects millions of people hoping to secure their American dream. Stay with me until the end because I'll show you how to prepare for these sudden changes the smart way. And before we dive in, make sure to like this video so more immigrants can see this urgent update and stay informed before it's too late. Now let's get straight into the full details of this major policy shift. The Trump administration's sudden announcement has left many immigrants, lawyers, and even consular officers surprised, because the new green card requirements came with almost no advance notice. The phrase "effective immediately" means that as of today, any application being processed, whether it's family-based, employment-based, or adjustment of status within the U.S., will now be reviewed under the updated standards. And for thousands of applicants, this could mean a completely different outcome than what they expected just a week ago. To understand why this matters, let's first look at what exactly changed. The biggest update centers on how the U.S. government determines whether an applicant is likely to become what's known as a public charge. This term might sound technical, but it simply means someone who might depend on government assistance, for example, programs like Medicaid, food stamps, or housing benefits. Under the new rules, the Trump administration has expanded this definition and made it tougher to pass. That means officers can now deny a green card if they believe the applicant might rely on public benefits in the future, even if they've never used them before. So imagine this: you're applying for your green card, and you've submitted all your paperwork, you've paid your fees, you've done your medical exam, and then suddenly, your financial documents are re-evaluated under stricter criteria. Now they want to see proof that you can fully support yourself and your family without any government help. They're looking closely at your job, your income, your education level, even your credit score in some cases. It's no longer enough just to meet the basic income threshold. The government now wants assurance that you won't become a financial burden. And this is where things get complicated because not all immigrants are in the same position. Some are students who've just started working. Others are parents supporting families both in the U.S. and abroad. Many rely on sponsors, usually relatives or employers, who promise to support them financially. Under these new rules, even if your sponsor meets the income requirement, officers now have more power to question whether that's truly reliable long-term. So in practice, this change gives the government more discretion to deny applications that might have been approved under the previous system. But that's not all. The Trump administration has also revised how applicants are evaluated based on their health, age, and language ability. For example, younger applicants with limited education or lower income could be considered higher risk, even if they have no criminal record and are working legally. The new criteria are designed to favor immigrants who are seen as economically self-sufficient, which means preference for those with steady employment, strong English skills, higher education, and private health insurance. On paper, this sounds like a push toward merit-based immigration. But in reality, it could make it much harder for working-class immigrants, older family members, and low-income applicants to qualify even if they've done everything right. Let's break this down in practical terms. Say you're a green card applicant married to a U.S. citizen. You've already filed your adjustment of status, and you're waiting for your interview. Under the old system, your spouse's income was the main factor that proved financial stability. But now, officers can go beyond that. They can ask for more proof of savings, assets, or insurance coverage. They might also ask detailed questions about your employment history, your plans for future work, and even how you intend to pay for healthcare. If your situation doesn't look financially solid on paper, your case could be delayed or flagged for further review. And this isn't just affecting people already in the U.S. Consular processing overseas, meaning applications handled at U.S. embassies and consulates abroad is also being affected. In countries like the Philippines, India, Mexico, and Nigeria, where thousands of family-based green cards are processed every year, applicants are now being asked to meet higher documentation standards. Some are even being told to submit additional financial evidence, which can slow down the entire process by months. Immigration attorneys are calling this a silent tightening of the system. They say the Trump administration is using administrative power to reshape who gets to become a permanent resident without needing new laws from Congress. It's a way to shift U.S. immigration toward people who are already well off and away from those who might need time to build their stability once they arrive. For many families, that feels like a betrayal of the American promise, the idea that if you work hard and play by the rules, you should have a fair chance. Now, you might be wondering, does this affect those who already have a green card? The answer is mostly no. If you're already a permanent resident, these new rules don't revoke your status. But they could impact future renewals, adjustments, or sponsorships you plan to make for family members. For example, if you were hoping to sponsor your parents, your siblings, or even your spouse, the stricter income and documentation requirements will now apply to you as the sponsor. Another area that's drawing attention is public benefits reporting. The Trump administration is expanding the definition of what counts as a public benefit. Previously, only cash assistance programs like Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF, counted against applicants. Now, even non-cash benefits like Medicaid, food assistance, or Section 8 housing vouchers could be considered negative factors. And that's where confusion is spreading, because many immigrants worry that using any kind of help could ruin their green card chances. Lawyers are warning immigrants not to panic but to be cautious. If you're receiving benefits for your U.S.-born children or during emergencies like pregnancy or disability, those may not automatically disqualify you. But it's crucial to speak with an immigration attorney before applying for new benefits, because the rules are complex and vary by case. Let's also talk about the political side of this. The Trump administration has been vocal about reshaping immigration policy toward what it calls America First. These new green card requirements fit into that broader agenda, prioritizing self-sufficiency, employment-based immigration, and reducing what they consider dependence on public resources. Supporters of the policy argue that it protects taxpayers and ensures newcomers contribute economically from day one. Critics, however, say it discriminates against lower-income immigrants, punishes families who need support, and undermines the country's tradition of opportunity. You might also notice that the timing of these changes isn't random. Immigration reform has always been a hot political topic, and by making these changes effective immediately, the administration avoids long debates or pushback in Congress. It's a strategy that uses executive authority to alter immigration outcomes without passing new laws. And that means the impact is real and immediate. Thousands of applications currently in progress will now be judged under the new rules. For applicants, the key takeaway is this: preparation and documentation are more important than ever. Financial records, employment verification, and proof of insurance will carry more weight in your case. If your income or employment situation is uncertain, it's crucial to have a strong sponsor and backup documentation ready. Immigration officers are now instructed to look at the totality of circumstances, meaning they can weigh multiple factors together, and that gives them broad discretion. Now, let's address what's next. These changes are likely to face legal challenges, as many immigrant advocacy groups argue that the new standards are too vague and discriminatory. In fact, several lawsuits are already being filed, aiming to block or delay implementation. But until courts issue any injunctions, the rules remain in effect. That means applicants currently submitting or waiting for decisions should proceed as if the new requirements apply. For anyone planning to apply soon, this is the time to review your documents carefully. Make sure your tax returns, employment letters, and bank statements are up to date. If you have private health insurance, include proof of coverage. If you've been relying on government programs, consult with an attorney before filing to understand how it may impact your case. Remember, the goal here is to show that you're financially independent, stable, and unlikely to rely on public support. It's also worth noting that these new rules could affect different visa categories differently. Employment-based green cards may face less risk since applicants often have jobs lined up, but family-based categories are more vulnerable because sponsors' financial stability is now under deeper review. Students transitioning from F1 to permanent residency, or workers shifting from temporary visas like H-1B to green cards, will also need to meet the tougher standards. The emotional impact of these sudden changes can't be ignored either. Many families are feeling anxious, confused, and frustrated. Some have waited years to reach this stage, investing money, time, and hope, only to find the goalposts have moved overnight. Community organizations across the country are holding emergency info sessions, trying to help applicants understand what's happening. Immigration hotlines are receiving record numbers of calls. People are asking, what if my interview is next week? Will they judge me by the old rules or the new ones? The reality is, if your interview or case decision happens after the new policy took effect, it will likely be reviewed under the new standards. That's why staying informed is critical. The rules might sound complex, but knowing what's expected gives you power. Don't assume your lawyer or sponsor already knows every update. Things are changing fast, and even immigration officers are still getting new guidance. Always double-check the latest USCIS policy alerts and consult trusted legal sources before making big moves in your application. What this moment shows more than anything is how unpredictable U.S. immigration policy can be. One announcement, one policy memo, one administrative change, and everything shifts. But knowledge and preparation can make a huge difference. If you stay ahead of the news, understand your rights, and prepare strong documentation, you can still succeed even under tougher standards. For those watching from abroad, this update is also a reminder that getting a green card is not just about eligibility, it's about timing, presentation, and understanding the system. The U.S. immigration framework is constantly evolving, and those who adapt fastest often have the best outcomes. Before we wrap up, let's be clear, this isn't the first time the Trump administration has tightened immigration policy, and it may not be the last. But what makes this particular change stand out is how immediate and sweeping it is. Overnight, thousands of cases are affected, and every applicant now faces new scrutiny. Whether you agree with it or not, it's a reality that every immigrant must prepare for. So what should you do right now? First, don't panic. If you've already submitted your application, make sure your file is complete and accurate. If you're still preparing, gather as much supporting evidence as possible. Strengthen your financial profile if you can, maybe through a co-sponsor, a job offer, or additional savings. And stay updated, because immigration policy can shift again just as fast as it did this time. Finally, this video isn't meant to create fear, it's meant to keep you informed and prepared. Because in immigration, information is power. The more you understand the rules, the better you can navigate them and protect your dream of living and thriving in the United States. We'll keep tracking this story closely as more details and reactions emerge from immigration offices, attorneys, and advocacy groups. So stay tuned, stay alert, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any critical updates that could affect your case. If you found this explanation helpful and you believe others need to hear it too, please hit that like button. It helps this video reach more people who might be affected by these sudden changes. And remember, this is more than just news, this is about people's lives, families, and futures. Let's make sure everyone who needs to know hears it in time.